Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you. From Yahuwah, our Father, and Yahusha. He is the Messiah, the one that carries the burden of Yah, his voice, our high priest, soon coming King. Hear, O Yeshua, Yahuwah, who is our mighty one. He is one. There is no other mighty one in existence than Yahuwah, and Yahusha is his voice. This is Brother Dawood coming to you again to bring you the last atonement before the gathering, the Azazal goat. This is part 2. Isn't it amazing? They covered up Azazal and put scape. Isn't it amazing? They covered up the Alayam and put God. One of them, the fallen ones that is, they exposed, and the other, they covered up. Why? To cause you to worship, glorify, and praise the one who deceived Eve, the one who showed men the blows of death. Let's begin. Wayakara, you would say Leviticus, chapter 16, 10 to 11. 10. But the goat, on which the lot fell, to be the Azazal goat, shall be presented alive before Yahuwah to make an atonement with, no, to make an atonement for him and to let him go for an Azazal goat into the wilderness. Why does Yahuwah need an atonement made for him? Well, what the Most High is doing here is sending Azazal's recompense right back upon his own head. Azazal taught men how to make weapons, and through the acquisition of weapons, blood was shed all around the earth. So all of the transgressions of the children of Yeshua in this time was placed upon the Azazal goat and sent right back at him into the wilderness. 11. And Aharon shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and he shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself. Note, was the bull a representation of the Messiah? Was the goat a representation of the Messiah? If you said no, you're right. What was the Messiah represented as? If you said the lamb and even added the Passover lamb, then you are right. Note, did the Passover lamb die for your sins? If you said no, you are right. What did the Passover lamb stand for? Well, you were supposed to slaughter him, take the blood, spread it upon the doorpost. When the death angel came down the street and saw that you were covered by the blood, death passed you by. So the blood that the Messiah, the Messiah, shed was not for your sins. His blood was shed so that he can enter in. Where? Into the holy place, in the heavens, to cover you for your transgressions of the law, to bring them before the mercy seat to the lawgiver himself, the only one who can exonerate you from the transgressions of the law. 12. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar before Yahuwah, and his hands full of sweet incense beaten small, and bring it within the veil. The heathen, the Europeans, in their church, try to emulate this. Their pope brings the laver of incense and spreads the smoke around the table of the kinds. The table of the kinds, you know, Eucharist, Eucharisto, Greek, Good Supper, you would call it communion. Then he performs a miracle with a few words. It is called the doctrine of transubstantiation. The wafer and the wine has actually turned into the body and blood of their master, Christ. And then you are forgiven of your venial sins. 13. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before Yahuwah, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he die not. If you do not carry out these rites according to the pattern that is in heaven, the penalty is death. 14. And he shall take the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat, eastward, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times. Who's going to do this? The Kahan, the high priest, the only one who can enter in. 15. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering. That is for the people. Is Yahusha HaMashiach represented as a goat? No. He is the lamb. What does the lamb do? Cover you of your transgressions of the law. He is in the heavens to cover you before the mercy seat and bring his blood within the veil. Only he can enter in and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat 7 times with his finger and before the mercy seat. Do you see anything here about a grace seat? Mercy presupposes guilt. In order for your sins to be washed away, you must obtain mercy from the lawgiver. All of this is happening in the heavens for you. Only thing you have to do is show up. Continue to part 3. Shalom.